Yarden Garden is a production of the University of Minnesota Morris in cooperation with Pioneer Public Television. Additional support provided by Mark and Margaret Yekel Julien in honor of Shalom Hill Farm, a nonprofit rural education retreat center in a beautiful prairie setting near Windham in southwestern Minnesota. ShalomHillFarm.org.
A locavore is a person who makes an effort to eat food that is grown, raised, or produced locally, usually within 100 miles of home. Growing up on the farm near Strasburg, North Dakota, we were locavores before that word even existed. Like most people in that area, we relied on the two vegetable gardens, pumpkin patch, potato patch, and sweet corn field for much of our family's food. However, today many people do not have that ability to garden, whether they don't have space or gardening knowledge. Come along with Prairie Yarden Garden as we visit a garden that is providing lots of fresh produce and gardening know-how to help make a whole community locavores. Most of us have been at family, church, or social events where someone has made the comment, "There's enough food here to feed the whole town." Welcome to Prairie Yarden Garden. I'm host Mary Holm, and today we are visiting the Glenwood Community Garden with Mike Knutson, who is dedicated to growing enough food to feed the entire community. Welcome, Mike.
Thank you.
Now tell us, please, how did the Glenwood Community Garden get started and who started it?
Well, I got the idea. I work at Glenwood Lutheran Church, and we had a green space that we were going to put into a parking lot, and I thought that I saw a lot of older people in our church and that couldn't raise their own vegetables anymore, and I knew they still would make things and that and would love to have some. So I got the idea, and I was going to do it back there, but then I didn't have enough room, and someone put me in touch with the USDA up here. They had a small little garden here that their employees were trying to take care of, and they were looking for someone to take it over. So I stepped in and took it over. The first year we expanded it from what they had, and last few years we have expanded it, and we just did again this year 16 more feet.
How did they get started in the gardening? Why did they have a little garden space to begin with?
Well, part of it is Michelle Obama's initiative in that, to have community gardens to help feed people, give them fresh vegetables and that.
Who does the garden tilling in the spring, and who gets ready and decides what's all going to be planted?
Well, I do all the setup and that and decide what's going to be planted, and a lot of that comes from what seeds I can get from Glenwood Floral and Nursery, and what plants I can get from Glacial Growers south of town. And they've been generous in giving me whatever plants I want and how many ever I want. One of our church members and volunteers comes over with his tractor and tiller after we've put in some chicken compost that we get from another member's large chicken farm, and that. We've put that in every year, and that, I would say, is the reason why we have such good-looking vegetables. They have something extra.
So you add some nutrients and
Yep.
help amend the soil to get it more fertile and...
Right, and add more humus to the soil. And as you can see, we do some straw and grass clippings too, which will next year get tilled in also.
Do you mulch also?
Yes, especially around the vine crops, as you can see, the watermelon here, and the vine crops over there, and the tomatoes. I want the tomatoes so we don't have so much trouble with the weeds around them, and we don't get the splash up to get the disease on the leaves also.
And I'm sure that with the vining crops, it's nice to have the mulch to help keep the fruits off of the ground.
Yes.
How big is your garden here?
Well, now with the new expansion this year, and it's around 100 feet long by 34 feet wide.
Do you keep a map from year to year, or do you rotate the crops so that you have things in different places?
Yes, I do draw up a map and that, so I know when we're planting and that where I want things. And yes, we do rotate.
And why do you do that?
Well, there's certain diseases that can stay in the ground for certain plants, like tomatoes for one thing, and that can be bad. So you need to change the locations and that from year to year.
Do you have much trouble with insects or diseases at all?
Not a lot. We have in the past had a problem with some of the vine crops down over there right now. I noticed a little bit on them, and tomatoes sometimes get the blight coming up. This year, so far, they've been pretty good. So we keep them up in the tomato cages and that, keep them off the ground.
I noticed that you have some really, really nice tomato cages. Did somebody make those, or where did you get those from?
Yes, they were made. Those and the bins over here, the compost bins, were made by Scout for his Eagle project.
Do you have any deer problems and rabbit problems?
The first year, we didn't have a fence, and the deer just had a field day with it. We have a lot of deer in this community, and that's why the next year we went and got, these are cattle panels we got, and they're easy to put in, and I know deer can get over them, but they don't seem to bother, right now at least. And rabbits, we put 2-foot chicken netting around the outside against the ground and that to help keep the rabbits.
And I bet you that has helped a lot, huh?
Yeah, there's quite a few rabbits around here too, I'm sure.
How many volunteers do you have? You don't possibly take care of all of this by yourself, do you?
No, I have somewhere around 10. I don't have all of them at one time. We're trying to do this to weed every Wednesday evening, and last Wednesday we have about 5 adults and there was 4 kids that came along, and I have a high school student. She has been coming faithfully at least once a week and that, and helping me, and she's really gotten into it, and now she loves gardening.
Oh, so you've actually taught people about gardening here too.
Yes, I have. That's one of the main things I wanted to do with this too. I know at least 3 families that have come here and helped and didn't know what was going on or how to do anything, and now they have their own vegetable gardens also. In the fall, when school started, we have brought busloads of kids out here to show them what you can grow in that, and sometimes I've given them stuff, and I've brought lots of tomatoes and zucchini and that over to the school for them to have fresh vegetables in their lunches.
What do you do with the produce?
Most of our produce goes to the food shelf. That's one of the main reasons I wanted to start this. And we also have some assisted living facilities in town where they can do some of their own cooking, and we take some of it to there. And I might also start taking some to the farmers market Saturday mornings, and then take that money and give that to the food shelf.
And then who helps with the harvesting?
All of our different people, and that it depends. I have like 3 people that do most of it, that help me most of the time with the harvest. It's got to be people that know what is ready and what things are and that. So I only trust it to a few people or else if they're here and that and we're working and everything, they ask about it and I say, well, this is ready and that's not. And you know, I'm trying to show them more people of what things look like when they are ready to harvest.
So you're really teaching people as you go along.
Yes, I am. That's what I like to do.
How often do you harvest? Or you pretty much just check it daily, or how often do you check for?
The food shelf was open Mondays and Wednesdays, so we try to get things done like Sunday or a Monday morning or a Wednesday morning or a Tuesday. If some things need to be harvested by the weekend, we take and harvest them and put them in the larger refrigerator at church and then take them over like Monday morning.
So about how many pounds of food do you harvest from your community garden?
I do keep track. We have sheets in the little shed that people write down the poundage, and that we have a scale and everything. And last year it was nearly 1,200 pounds of vegetables we harvested out of its garden.
That's just fantastic. There's a lot of people that benefit from this garden, aren't there?
Yep. The lady that runs the food shelf told me this one little boy, I'd brought in some cucumbers and some other stuff, and he saw the cucumbers and asked if he could have one. And they let him have one, of course, and he sat right down and was eating it. He was she said he just had such a happy expression on his face as he got fresh cucumber.
And you got somebody eating a fresh vegetable, which
Exactly.
there's nothing better for a child
No,
than.
there's not enough of that, I feel, and out here now, and that more people are just using processed foods, where your fresh vegetables are always better.
Who does all the fall cleanup then, too, after the harvesting is done?
Well, some of my people help in that, but we've also, the one lady and her son that did the Eagle Scout project, she also runs the Scout pack here, and she gets some of those boys to come and help take all the stuff in that up.
Does everybody bring their own tools, or do you have tools here at the garden?
Some of both. There's, like I said, a lot of people don't have gardens, don't know how to garden and that. So we do have some hoes and other tools here that I've bought over the years. And then the rest of us I usually bring a lot of my own stuff, tools and that. And this year we did buy a small tiller that helped when we were planting. We could loosen up the ground, easier to plant, and in between the rows until some of the stuff gets too large to get in there and that. So that has helped a lot.
I see you have some hoses here. Tell us about what the watering system is.
I have about 3 of us that do watering. I would like to train more. We have to go and pull around 175 feet of hose because our water is a city hydrant way down back there and that. So it takes a lot of hoses to get up here. And then we hook into our irrigation system that Jerry Wright, who used to work for the U, put in for us. So we don't water the whole garden, which helps with the weeding and that too. And you can also water while you're working. And it runs tapes or hoses down each row, and that we plant right beside each of the tapes.
And then it looks like you have kind of a soaker hose system.
Yes.
Rather than
Most of it is. Some of it are the bigger tubes that they have emitters onto.
Well, that's really great because it doesn't waste water or anything. It goes
Right.
right to where the plants need it.
Yep, it's on timers. We got 2 different sections going 2 ways here, and we can put the timers on for 2 hours at a time, which usually is enough time to do a good watering.
Where do you store your equipment over the winter? Do you have a place, or does everybody take it to their home? And
A lot of the stuff is stored in the shed over here, and now we've got a bigger shed that we're going to be using that came from the back of the church that they didn't need anymore. So that will be nice. We can leave more stuff here. We bring some of the hoses in, put them in the basement of the church usually. So most of the stuff stays here.
community garden things that I've read about, people have their own little space that they maintain, but that's not the case with this garden, is it?
No, that's a misnomer for a lot of people in that. I wanted to start it to produce fresh vegetables for mainly the food shelf and other people that didn't have the facilities or the abilities to do it anymore.
If there's some other community that would like to start a community garden like you have, what kind of advice would you give them? How would they start it? How would they go about doing this?
If they have a USDA office in your community, there would be a great place to start. Or a church would be great, or another service organization, because if you can work through them, you're going to get better exposure in that, and they can help you raise money also.
How has your garden changed over the years?
Well, we have increased it, what have I increased it, 3 times? We have increased the size. I get more people helping, and they go, well, why don't we make it bigger? And I go, well, are you going to help? Yeah, we'll help. So I go, okay. And we go and get some more cattle panels. They're 16-foot cattle panels, so we increased it by another 16 feet this year.
Mike, this is a wonderful garden. Could you please take the time and show us the varieties that you're growing and show us all the different kinds of plants that you're growing?
I would love to, Mary.
Mike, you have some absolutely beautiful tomatoes here in your garden. Let's see. I'm above a little over 5 feet, and I'm at eye level with your tomatoes. What kind of tomatoes do you have that you're growing?
Well, we have 4 different varieties here. We have Big Boy, we have Brandywine, which is one of my favorites. That's an heirloom variety. An heirloom means an old heritage variety. They are big and they are better tasting, I think, than any of the hybrids in that. Then we have a yellow, and then we have a paste tomato.
The leaves are different on the Brandywine too. Is that normal?
Yes, that's called a potato leaf variety, where these are just the regular tomato. Tomatoes and potatoes are in the same family. They're quite close relatives.
And then you said you grow a yellow variety too?
Right. I like it. Personally, I like a yellow because it's less acid than that. I think it has a nice flavor, and some people stomachs can't handle the acid of a regular tomato, so your yellow will be easier for them to eat.
Well, and when you're growing for in a community garden for the food to go to lots of people, you're taking other people's digestive systems into effect, and you're really watching out for them too, so that's great. And you have a paste variety too, you said?
Right. We have one of those over there. We give a lot of it to, to the food shelf and that. I think most people just eat them and that, they're great for salads and that cut up. Some people will take and make some salsa with it or some spaghetti sauce. I do some of that myself in that I make spaghetti sauce, and I make a peach salsa out of some of the stuff.
Okay, and usually they're pretty meaty and make a good salsa or
right.
a good
sauce.
That's
what they're for in that. They're really meaty and that don't have a lot of seeds and that in it.
You have some really interesting cages, and we talked about that just a little bit earlier, but what are these cages made out of?
They are made out of the same wire in that you use for cement, for putting in when you pour cement. The kid that made them in that had done some research online and found a pattern for this using this kind of wire. And they're 6 foot long by about 1 foot wide. And so there's quite a few different ones, and it makes it easy to take up in the fall too in that and store away to get it out of the way.
Well, I'll bet that they kind of store somewhat flat after you're over and done with, and like I said, you've got such beautiful big tomatoes, and they're still inside the cages, so they're not flopping on the ground.
Yeah, the first year I didn't have anything, and trying to pick tomatoes that are laying all over the ground, you couldn't hardly walk in there. It was really difficult, so I needed to do something, and we've tried different things too. I've done other things that have worked too.
This is very, very good, and the fact that they would store easily is really, really nice, but I just can't get over the size of the tomatoes here. I see you have some potatoes back in the corner, and you can't even see those because the tomatoes are so high.
Yeah, they're up against the fence and that. There was some person asked if we could use some potato seed in that, and I said, well, yeah, I wasn't going to put any in. They don't grow well here in this garden, but I thought, if she wants to give me some, we'll plant them.
Okay.
So we planted them, and they've been growing great this year.
Obviously, something else that's growing great is your broccoli. Just beautiful.
Yeah, we started harvesting them and all. We've got some heads that I harvested about 5 heads. A couple of them were smaller than that, and they weighed 10 pounds. So they're pretty big heads in that. Some of them will go 10 inches or so across. Every week we'll get a big bag, at least once a week, if not twice, of the side shoots all year long. That's what I really love about broccoli. It just keeps on going. Instead of being done like the cauliflower over there, once you pick it, that's it.
So once you cut off the main head, then you harvest off the side shoots for the rest of the season.
Yep.
And it looks like you have a lot of squash here too. What kinds of squash do you have available?
Well, we have the summer squash first here, and we have the regular green zucchini, and then we have some yellow summer squash that basically taste the same in that as zucchini, in that they're just yellow and they're more bulbous, and that they're very good. They're very prolific, like zucchini. You got to harvest them at least once a week, if not more than that, when they really get going.
We always joke about that during zucchini season, people have to lock their doors, yeah.
Yeah.
But they're wonderful as far as having a large harvest. The one nice thing about zucchini is they don't vine all over the garden, where it looks like some of your other squash do tend to vine more and use more space.
Right. That's what's real nice about the summer squash. You can put them in a smaller space, where our winter squash do travel all over, and that they vine real well.
I have a question. I'm interested in growing a unique pumpkin or squash in my garden. Can you recommend some interesting varieties?
There are a lot of great places now to get different unique varieties of squash and pumpkins, and you can get varieties like this, like an heirloom from Italy. It's Marina di Chioggia. It is a sea pumpkin that's grown on the Amalfi Coast. It's amazing flesh inside, really, really great for eating, and it's also really fun and decorative on the outside. Another one is Australian butter. This is the most heavenly squash that you'll ever eat. It's like pumpkin creme brulee on the inside, really easy to cook, creamy and nice. And I really like it a lot better than the typical squash that you might see in the stores. Is the acorn squash. It's kind of stringy, kind of a little bit dull, not a whole lot of flavor. So I actually want to get a lot of people to try new varieties. Another great one is a Japanese heirloom, Kirimon. It's really, really amazingly interesting. It turns blue, and then as it starts to cure, it'll actually turn like a nice brown color. The inside is orange and amazing, nice texture, really tasty. Another variety which I haven't gotten the opportunity to try is Greek Sweet Red. Apparently it's got red flesh on the inside. It's supposed to be really, really nice, interesting, different squash variety. I look forward to trying this one. Another great thing about squash is that the seeds are highly nutritious. In a variety like Silver Edge has hull-less seeds, so they're a lot easier to chew on. You can cook them, roast them up, and they provide a lot of nutrition. Some other varieties are purely ornamental, like the Caveman's Club, kind of a new variety for me, kind of a weird dinosaur-looking thing, and the Mini Red Turban, kind of looks like a mushroom. All these seeds for these squashes are found by just looking up heirloom seed or rare seed for squash. Good luck choosing your different varieties and your planting.
Ask the Arboretum Experts has been brought to you by the Minnesota Landscape Arboretum in Chanhassen, dedicated to enriching lives through the appreciation and knowledge of plants.
It looks like you've got quite a few different kinds of lettuce, and it surprises me that it still looks so good because it's been quite warm. How do you keep it from bolting?
Well, we have had some of it bolt, some of that, and then we just cut it back. But if you keep cutting it, it will keep coming, and keep it watered well, and we just keep on going most of the year pretty well with it. And like you say, we do have some different kinds in that. We have a couple different kinds of loose leaf ones. Then we have some muslin mix that has different varieties in it, like some arugula, some mustard greens, along with different kinds of loose lettuce. It kind of gives you, arugula gets you a peppery taste in that, so it's kind of nice in a salad in that, to have that extra taste.
Are there some things that you are growing that are new this year as compared to previous years?
Yes, we're right here where we're standing in that. We have some herbs we put in here. We got some basil and we got some sage. We thought we'd try they had the plants this year and asked me if I wanted to try it. And I thought, well, why not? We'll stick them in and see if anybody wants to use them and that. The basil definitely needs to be picked right now. Sage could be, some of it could go a little bit longer. And then right next to you, we planted some leeks this year because they had leek plants available that they wanted to know if I could use. So we planted the leeks too. And they're doing real well, it looks like.
And it looks like you've got some great peppers and quite a few different kinds of peppers too, from what I see.
Yes, we have mostly the green bell peppers. We have some jalapenos. We have some sweet bananas, and then another hotter one too that I'd picked up.
And beans, it almost looks like you've got two different colors there, is that right?
Yes, we have the regular green bean and we have yellow also. I like the yellow myself, and they're a lot easier to pick because you can see them easier in the vines.
And I bet you the flavor is good too.
Yeah, I prefer the flavor of them in that. I usually, if I'm going to boil some up in that, I put both together in that, but I like the yellow ones myself. I don't think they're as stringy in that, and I think they're got a little bit, maybe a more buttery type flavor to them.
And I see that you've got some peas too, and a very nice netting. You have them crawling up the netting.
Yeah, putting a fence around on your peas rows and that helps them grow up and makes it easier to pick, so you don't have to bend over as much and dig through vines that are laying on the ground. It just, it just makes it a lot easier to pick them.
And I'll bet helps with disease resistance too.
Sure, yeah, get them off the ground. Anytime you can get them up, you're much better than laying on wet ground.
Well, thank you so much, Mike, for taking the time and being willing to show us your beautiful community garden, which provides so much good in your county and I guess even in your city of Glenwood.
Well, thank you for coming. I was very happy to show you and hope that maybe somebody else, some other communities would get the idea. That's what I like to do it in education and that. I like to teach people how to grow for themselves.
Thank you.
Additional support provided by Mark and Margaret Yekel Julien in honor of Shalom Hill Farm, a nonprofit rural education retreat center in a beautiful prairie setting near Windham in southwestern Minnesota. ShalomHillFarm.org.